Today, we got two master fighters going head to head. Daredevil versus Red Hood. Who comes out on top? Let's find out. As a child, Matt Murdock was blinded by radioactive waste while trying to save an elderly stranger about to get hit by a truck carrying the dangerous material. In turn, his other senses were heightened to superhuman sharpness, gaining the form of radar sense. By day, he's a successful trial lawyer, but by night, he guards Hell's Kitchen as the man without fear known as Daredevil. Now, Daredevil is in peak physical condition and is surprisingly strong and durable. He's been seen easily swinging around using a 400-pound barbell as a weapon and can crack concrete walls with the sheer power of his punches or by throwing his baton. Matt's whole thing is that he knows how to take a punch, being able to take several punches from the Hulk, solve a multi-story fall from a building, which then being caught on fire, in napalm and nitroglycerin explosions. His greatest asset, though, is his speed and agility. He's been able to consistently dodge bullet machine gun fire, even after the bullets have already been fired and at point-blank range. Daredevil is even great enough to swat away bullets with his baton. Also one of the greatest acrobats in the Marvel Universe. Thanks to the accident, Matt's other senses were heightened to extremely superhuman degrees. He's able to hear everything in a 5-mile radius if he concentrates, to read simply by touching the ink on the page, and has such a great sense of smell that he can actually smell blood pressure rising. Then his radar sense, a form of echolocation, allows him to see what's around him, also gives him a 360 view of his surroundings. Daredevil is one of the greatest fighters in the Marvel Comics, and is skilled in nerve strikes and martial arts like ninjutsu, jujutsu, judo, kung fu, Keto, and boxing. This combination of fighting styles perfectly blends his incredible strength and gymnastics ability. Then Matt also has his Billy Club, which is able to throw hard enough to crack concrete, and is skilled enough to ricochet off of basically anything. Finally, Daredevil was an excellent strategist, smart enough to graduate valedictorian from law school at Columbia. So, that's what we got one corner. Defender of Hell's Kitchen, Matt Murdock, Daredevil. But, entering the ring, the other corner, Jason Todd, also known as Red Hood. Jason Todd was a second Robin, but was brutally murdered by the Joker. After he was resurrected, Jason was shocked to learn that Batman did nothing to avenge his death. Anguished and seeking vengeance, he initially turned against his mentor and took on the Clown Prince's former codename, the Red Hood. Eventually coming back to the Bat family and assembling a team of anti-heroes known as the Outlaws, Jason once again fights for justice, just on his own terms. Jason Todd could be considered one of the most dangerous people on the planet, and has trained his body into peak physical condition. He's physically strong enough to hold up the roof of a building, kick off an airplane door. But it's important to note a lot of Red Hood's most impressive strength feats, like breaking Supergirl's grip, or when he was on a variant of Bane's Venom. He won't be given that Venom in this fight. Also very durable. A lot of that durability comes from his suit. Jason's armor is bulletproof, and his helmet is incredibly durable as well. Red Hood is fast enough to consistently dodge gunfire, even from great shots like Deathstroke. He's one of the greatest fighters in the world. He's received training from Batman and the League of Assassins. His fighting style focuses on strength, speed, and brutality. He's a master of Aikido, karate, ninjutsu, Krav Maga, kickboxing, and taekwondo. With all these skills, Red Hood has been able to battle against Batman, and has beaten both Deathstroke and Lady Shiva. Although, to be fair, Deathstroke was weakened before the fight even began, and he beat Lady Shiva with a unique trick that she taught him for how to beat her. Just like all of the members of the Bat family, Red Hood is incredibly skilled in strategy, stealth, surveillance, and has a particular taste for deception. He has 2 handguns that he calls some of the strongest guns made by man, as well as tasers, explosives, arm blades, sedative injectors, and anti-tank rounds. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, everyone's always talking about Batman versus Daredevil, or Daredevil versus Nightwing. And don't get me wrong, those are some incredible fights. fights that we've done on this channel. But Red Hood is just so different from any other members of the Bat family, considering that he's much more ruthless, is willing to kill, and is the only one who uses guns in his fights. So today, we're going to throw Daredevil up against Red Hood. Who comes out on top? Who wins? Well, so we're going to find out. Now, first things first, let me take a look at physicality. Which one of these two heroes is stronger? So even though Daredevil might not look it, he is surprisingly strong. Matt has easily picked up a 400-pound barbell used as a weapon. He's thrown his baton hard enough to crack concrete. He even cracked concrete walls himself with his bare hands. He sent men flying backwards with his attacks, easily broken through metal. And when he's gone up against Kingpin, a massive guy who weighs some 500 pounds, well, Daredevil has kicked him with enough force to send him stumbling backwards and actually dent metal doors. He's also got some serious striking power, sending a punching bag flying across the room, like Cap did in the first Avengers movie. He's bent prison cell bars before, and Matt has even flipped over a limousine full of people. On the other hand, Jason is strong enough to break people's necks, cut a dinosaur's head off, flip Bane onto his head, flipped the massive Susie Sue over his head, and tossed people around with one arm. He's held up the roof of a broken building, kicked off an airplane door. If we really want to get into it, at his strongest point, he's actually knocked Lobo to his knees with a blow. However, that definitely seems a bit out of his normal strength range. It's mostly because Red Hood was on a variant of Venom during parts of his run in the New 52. He won't be given that Venom in this fight. So they don't know about durability. Well, one of Matt's greatest assets is that he definitely knows how to take and roll with a punch, and is regularly able to take some massive beatings, not go down, and actually go on to win the fight. He survived several explosions, some even at point-blank range, yet still got back up and continued fighting. He's taken point-blank blasts from Electro, taking direct attacks from superhumans like Bruiser, falling from multi-story buildings, and Matt even kept on fighting, actually beat Typhoid Mary while he was literally being burnt alive. Daredevil was even taking several punches from the Hulk. And man, just the balls on him to actually try and take on a rampaging Hulk in a one-on-one fight. Daredevil was also proven he's incredibly resilient to attacks that should have been his weakness, like being struck with a Sonic Blossom Claw. Even though his radar was temporarily knocked out, Matt still wanted to win the fight and knocked out Claw. But Red Hood takes the edge here, mostly because his armor is just better, more resilient than Daredevil's suit. Jason has been sent flying through a wall by Frankenstein. On top of that, he's been unfazed by hits from Cassandra Cain and Cheshire, survived getting hit by a bazooka, and his armor just increases durability. It's fireproof, bulletproof, and the helmet is knife resistant. His skin is literally fireproof, and somehow Red Hood has survived being near multiple nuclear blasts while under the water. His armor is honestly just kinda insane. But then we got speed and agility. And if Red Hood is more durable, well, Daredevil is definitely faster and more agile. No real question there. Now that doesn't mean that Red Hood isn't fast or agile himself. He's dodged Batgirl's batarangs, shots from Deathstroke, and he's consistently dodged large barrages of gunfire and sniper fire, even if bullets were only a few inches from his face. He's dodged rockets and lasers, weaved in between alien bullets so impressively to where Supergirl even complimented him on his speed and skill, but Daredevil is just better. I mean, Matt has been able to regularly swat away and deflect bullets with his baton, even multiple bullets at the same time. That's actually more impressive than dodging bullets, considering that you're not moving out of the way, but literally letting the bullet come towards you, just out-reacting it. Daredevil's also done it incredibly often, deflected multiple bullets at once, and even deflected bullets from people like Bullseye, arguably the most accurate character in the Marvel Universe. He's dodged bullets trained on him from all locations, dodged bullets without even using his radar sense, meaning he had to wait and hear for the gunshot, dodged sniper fire after it was fired, dodged a point blank shot from behind. Daredevil's even dodged punches from Spider Man and outrected Peter on a couple of occasions. And I'm definitely not saying that Daredevil is somehow faster than Pete. He isn't and never will be. But it does demonstrate Matt's incredible speed and agility. But unless Red Hood has outacted the DC version of Spider Man on several occasions, which, side note, who would that even be? But unless he's done that, I'm going to give Daredevil the edge in speed. So they both got their physical advantages here in the fight, with being roughly equal in strength, Red Hood being more durable, meaning he can take more punches, with Daredevil being faster and more agile, meaning he can be able to land more punches and attacks. So this means that a whole lot of this fight depends on their fighting skill and their fighting ability. And Red Hood is a much better and more skilled fighter than a lot of people give him credit for. I mean, just look at some of the things that Jason has done. He's taken out a large group of talents by himself, beat Ra's al Ghul, defeated Lady Shiva and Deathstroke. Although both of those fights did have extenuating circumstances. He only beat Shiva thanks to a unique technique that she herself taught him, and Deathstroke was extremely tired and injured before his fight against Jason even began. But Hood has also beat up a large group of Shiva-trained Man-Bats. He's even beaten Cassandra Cain and Batman. He even figured out a way to get around Kane's precognitive abilities. Red Hood also just got better gear and equipment than Daredevil in the fight. He's got explosives, bolas, actually got a bunch of grenades. Then he's got some of the strongest handguns on the planet. They're armor-piercing rounds, actually being able to pierce through Deathstroke's armor. He can shoot incredibly quickly, actually impressively accurate, even implying that he could have tagged Batman with his guns if he wanted to. However, while Matt doesn't have the wide assortment of gear or weapons that Red Hood does, he is the better and more skilled fighter. I mean, Daredevil is an expert at combining elegant parkour moves with some very clean yet devastating punches and kicks in order to swiftly put people down. At the same time, he'll always utilize powerful nerve strikes while making full use of his radar sense, allowing him to dodge, evade attacks, and perform complex moves faster and easier. Daredevil also doesn't just try and slug it out with his opponents. Actually specifically targets an opponent's weak spots, which he'll pick up on via his radar sense and enhanced senses. Matt is also kinda the expert when it comes to nerve strikes, and will definitely use them in a fight in order to put down more powerful opponents, people who can't easily beat just fighting skill. He knows nerve strikes that can blind people, cause them to experience pain worse than being set on fire, simply knock them unconscious, or even kill them. He's also able to use these strikes on superhumans with super durability, like when Hammerhead screaming in pain, which is 3 moves, while Hammerhead is usually able to brush off attacks from people like Spider-Man and Luke Cage. Red Hood's armor also isn't infallible, and is really built for blunt force trauma. And if Matt is able to injure people as durable as Hammerhead, I'm betting he can injure and take out Jason with nerve strikes as well. And even though Daredevil doesn't have the wide array of gear that Jason does, he does have his baton, and is incredibly skilled with it. In fact, he's able to ricochet it all over the room, ricochet off of several opponents, and even throw his baton through a window, knock someone out, after the baton bounced through the exact same hole that it previously made. He's also used it to take down master martial artists before, even people with radar senses, by having the baton ricochet all around the room, then hit them by surprise, when he believed they had already dodged the initial attack. At the end of the day, Matt is just a better fighter. He's fought against entire elite ninja squads, beat several superhumans or master martial artists by himself, even famously fought against and beat 107 armed Yakuza men. Half of them were enhanced with MGH, a good punch straight through a man, and Matt didn't even have any of his Daredevil gear on him, just relying on his skill. But we gotta talk about Daredevil's enhanced senses and radar. Because while Red Hood isn't as reliant on stealth as a former mentor Batman, he is a part of the Bat family, meaning that he is still incredibly skilled when it comes to stealth. But this just isn't going to work with Daredevil. Matt can literally smell blood pressure rising, recognizes the differences in heartbeats to such a fine degree. They knows by sound if someone is new, can detect nanosecond pauses, detects the molecules in the air, notices as they shift, and he can practically become omniscient if he really focuses. And from there, well, Daredevil is going to be able to dodge, block, or just take all of Red Hood's attacks. I mean, he's casually been dodging or deflecting bullets literally his entire career, oftentimes even after they were fired or at point blank range. So nothing Red Hood is packing will really catch Matt off guard, even though his guns are more powerful than normal. Daredevil's also just the better fighter, as an instant way to get past Jason's durability and armor for his nerve strikes and pressure points. Honestly, nothing against Red Hood, but Daredevil's just better here. And too skilled, just too good to lose to Jason. In fact, Daredevil could probably beat all the Bat family except for Batman himself. And he's taking down Red Hood here. Daredevil wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sound off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, turn notifications, join the FanCo army, and I will see you all next time.